Mabrika, welcome to this episode of Let's Talk Taíno. I'm your host, Priscilla Colon, co-founder and creative here at Casarito, where our mission is to promote the Taíno language and culture. So today's episode comes from one of our subscribers who asked the question, what are the colors in Taíno? So we're going to begin by learning the colors and then quickly putting them into phrases so that we can more easily remember them. A trick to learning is to always associate things with things that you already know, and especially if they can create a mental picture, it's going to be easier for you to remember. So that's a trick that we're going to use today. The resource for today's lesson is the Primario Básico del Taíno Boriquenaíqui by Javier Hernández. I suggest you get that book so you can follow along with most of the lessons that I'm doing. Now, I have to tell you, looking through the list of colors, you can tell that Javier either borrowed some words from Spanish or was able to create new words based on some of the words we knew survived. So just to give you a little hint. There are other Taíno flavors that may use different words because they're borrowed from other sister languages. So it's okay to learn as many of the colors as you can, either from Javier's book that we're talking about today or from other sister languages. It just means that you're multilingual. So let's start with the colors and other words associated with colors first. O'ana, color. O'ana nagu, colors. O'ana keta, multicolor. Ture o'ana keta, rainbow. Notice that rainbow has ture, or sky, in it. Ita, red. Itayu, pink. Guatoana, orange. Marillan, yellow. Coturo, green. Gutusu, blue. Morado, purple. Gaona, gold. O'anake, brown. Notice that brown has que, which means soil. So you can tell that o'anake means color of soil. Haiti, black. For black, you may hear other people who speak other Taíno flavors say peiti instead of Haiti. You, white. Haiti you, gray. Notice that you can combine you, white, with other colors to make a lighter version of that color, like Itayu is pink because that's red and white. Haitiyu is gray because that's black and white. So now that we know the colors, I bet you're anxious to pair them up with nouns. But first we have to talk about adjective placement. Where do we put the colors or other adjectives, before a noun or after a noun? So in Taíno, we place the adjective after the noun. So let's go over these examples. Yamui Haiti, black cat. Ana yu, white flower. Ture gutusu, blue sky. Gue gaona, gold sun. Ke o'anake, brown soil. Now, there's a reason I've paired up these words. When you learn as a child your native language, you actually don't learn a list of colors. What you start doing is you start associating color with something that you see. So there are little kids all over the world who say yellow bus. They learn it as a phrase together with a noun. So what I want to do is teach you how to create pictures in your mind with the colors and something that is obviously that color. So that's what we're going to be practicing today. So in a previous lesson, we learned the verb era, to see, and dak era, I see, and we used that phrase to play a little I Spy game. So let's do the same today. We're going to do a little I Spy game, look at the pictures, and then say what we see using a phrase with the object or noun we see and the color. So let's take a look at this picture. I can say, dak era hek Yamui heiti. I see a black cat. Dakera hek ana yu. I see a white flower. Dakera ture gutusu. I see the blue sky. Dakera gue kaona. I see the gold sun. Dakera ke oanake. I see brown soil. You see how cool that was? So we put together quite a few lessons there. We have the verb era, we have the colors, we have a bunch of the nouns we've learned previously, and even the indefinite article hek, which means a, an, or one. Don't worry if you missed some of these. I will have the full list of videos that you should have seen before this one so you can follow along. In the meantime, why don't we just go over the full list of words that we learned today? Oana, color. Oana nagu, colors. Oana keta, multicolor. Ture oana keta, rainbow. Heiti, black. Yamui heiti, black cat. You, white. Ana you, white flower. Heiti you, gray. Ita, red. Itayu, pink. Guatoana, orange. Marian, yellow. Kaona, gold. Gue kaona, gold sun. Koturo, green. Gutusu, blue. Ture gutusu, blue sky. Morado, purple. Oanake, brown. Ke oanake, brown soil. Mavrika, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Taíno. I'm your host, Priscilla Colon, co-founder and creative here at Casarito, where our mission is to promote the Taíno language and culture. So a lot of you have asked me about learning more adjectives so that you can describe things in Taíno. So that's what we're going to be learning about today. Now, when we learned the colors in Taíno, we also learned about adjective placement. We always place the adjective after the noun. For example, ana, you, white flower. Yamui heiti, black cat. Gue kaona, golden sun. Now for today's episode, we're going to be taking our adjectives from two sources. One is the Primario Básico del Taíno Boriquenaiki by Javier A. Hernández. And the second resource is Keeping the Taíno Language Alive by Richard Porrata. Now, Keeping the Taíno Language Alive introduces us to a different flavor of Taíno. It is not the same as the one in the Primario Básico book, but I like this resource because it includes some adjectives that aren't included in the Primario Básico. So I'm borrowing the adjectives and using some of those today. Let's first learn the new adjectives. Happy, chali. Slow, kahat. Free, dashi. Now, just to note that when I say free in this context, I mean liberty, freedom, not price. Fresh, rahua. In some Taíno flavors, rahua also means the color green. Foolish, sanako. Sticky, neboa. Important, yaleta. Now we're going to look at a few pictures and describe them using some of the new adjectives. We're also going to be learning some new vocabulary along the way. Are you ready? Guariche chali, happy woman. Caguama kahat, slow turtle. Arroz neboa, sticky rice. TBC nagu, rahua, fresh vegetables. Karalu, yaleta, important book. Now I'm going to give you a little quiz to see if you can match the adjectives with the right picture. You want to try it out? Let's go. Do you remember what chali means? That's right, happy. So chali matches with the picture of the happy woman. Do you remember what kahat means? That's right, slow. So kahat matches with the picture of the slow turtle. Do you remember what sanako means? Of course, foolish. So that matches with the picture of the foolish clown. Let's try the next three. Do you remember what tashi means? That's right, free, as in freedom or liberty. So that matches with the picture of the Statue of Liberty. How about rahua? Of course, that means fresh, so that matches with the picture of the fresh vegetables. How about nebowa? Of course, that means sticky, so that matches with the picture of the sticky gum. Wasn't that a quick lesson? And it was super easy to start matching the adjectives with some of the new words that we learned. So let's review the list of vocabulary words that we learned today. Guariche, woman. Chali, happy. Caguama, turtle. Kahat, slow. Arroz, rice. Nebowa, sticky. TBC, vegetable. TBC, nagu, vegetables. Rahua, fresh. Karalu, book. Yaleta, important. Tashi, free. Sanako, foolish. Mavrika! Welcome to a new episode of Let's Talk Taíno. I'm Priscilla Colon, co-founder and creative here at Casarito, where our mission is to promote the Taíno language and culture. So on today's episode, we're going to be talking about antonyms. I know it's probably been a long time since you've heard that word in your 4th or 5th grade class, but don't worry, we're going to review what antonyms are in English, then we're going to talk about antonyms in Taíno. So we'll go through some activities to practice antonyms. Now for today's episode, we're going to be taking our adjectives from two sources. One is the Primario Básico del Taíno Boriquenaiki by Javier A. Hernández. And the second resource is Keeping the Taíno Language Alive by Richard Porrata. Are you ready to get started? I am, so let's go. Let's begin by first reviewing antonyms in English. So you learned when you were younger that these are the words that mean the opposite. So for example, hot, cold, black, white, happy, sad. These are all antonyms. You've already learned a bunch of antonyms in Taíno. Today we're going to review them all together. And we're also going to be talking about a way you can create antonyms if you know an adjective. So let's review the Taíno antonyms first. Hot, ayula. Cold, hemiai. Black, heiti. White, you. Happy, chali. Unhappy or sad, mat chali. Did you see what we did with that last word, mat chali? Unhappy or sad? We created an antonym, so let's review the formula. We start with mat, which means no or not. Then we add the adjective. That gives us the antonym. So for example, mat, which is not, plus chali, which is happy, equals mat chali, unhappy, not happy, or sad. So obviously this formula with mat at the beginning of the adjective doesn't work for everything, but it does give you a way to figure out how to create some antonyms. Now, why don't we review the antonyms in a couple of different activities? We're going to test your knowledge. So first, let's match the antonyms with the pictures. Haralu ayuda, which is hot. Well, if we look at the pictures, I see lemonade on one side and what looks like tea on the other side. So I'm going to say the tea is ayuda, hot. See how it works? Now why don't you try the next one? Haralu hemiai, which is cold. That's right. The lemonade is hemiai, cold. Now why don't we try writing a sentence? How would you describe the tea? Correct. Te toca ayuda. The tea is hot. Now let's try it with the next picture. What sentence would you write? Limón y arepo toca hemiai. The lemon juice is cold. You'll notice that I don't have a word for lemonade, but in strict terms it's lemon juice, so that's what I've used, and we learned lemon juice in a previous video. Are you ready for the next pair of antonyms? Let's begin by matching the antonyms with the pictures. Haralu heiti, which is black? Well, it's pretty obvious. The cat is black, so I'm going to label that heiti. You can guess what the next question will be. Haralu yu, which is white? Of course. The horse is white, so we're going to label that picture yu. Now, let's write a sentence for each of the pictures. Let's start with the black cat. How would we say the cat is black? Of course, Yamui toka heiti. The cat is black. Now let's describe the horse. Ama toka yu. The horse is white. That wasn't so bad, right? Now let's take a look at the last pair of antonyms. Let's first match the antonyms with the pictures. Haralu chali, which is happy. That's right. The picture of the smiling boy should be labeled chali, happy. Haralu mat chali, which is sad. Correct. The picture of the crying girl should be labeled mat chali, sad or unhappy. Now let's describe the first picture. What sentence could you use? Gualikyo toka chali. The boy is happy. How about this picture? How would you describe it using an antonym? Correct. Gualiche toka mat chali. The girl is sad. You see how that works? So, with that short and sweet lesson, we were able to review so many of the vocabulary words that we already know, and we learned how to create antonyms using the prefix mat, no or not. So, why don't we review one more time everything that we learned today? A. Word borrowed from the Spanish that means tea. Ayula, hot. Yarepo, juice. Limón yarepo, lemon juice. Hemiai, cold. Yamui, cat. Heiti, black. Ama, horse. Yu, white. Guali, child. Gualikyo, boy. Chali, happy. Gualiche, girl. Mat chali, unhappy or sad. Daktoka chali, I am happy that you took this lesson with me today. Daktoka mat chali, I am sad that it's over. Thank you again for joining me here on this channel week after week learning Taíno, because I know together we can do it. If you're interested in teaching young kiddos Taíno, check out our kids books. They are a great way to learn some key vocabulary words and phrases, They also include fun activities to get kids interested in observing the natural world around them. If you have any questions, suggestions, or maybe I didn't cover a topic deeply enough, please leave your comments down below. You can also join us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter to continue the conversation. In the meantime, Taikara ya Guaitiao Nagu.